Ladies and gentlemen, you are not in Kansas anymore. You are on Pandora.
You should see your faces.
We have an indigenous population called the Na'vi. They are very hard to kill.
This is why we're here. Because this little gray rock sells for 20 million a kilo. Their village happens to be resting on the richest deposit, and they need to relocate. Those savages are threatening our whole operation. We're on the brink of war, and you're supposed to be finding a diplomatic solution.
The concept is to drive these remotely controlled bodies called avatars. They're grown from human DNA, mixed with DNA of the natives.
Marine in an avatar body. That's a potent mix.
You get me what I need, I'll see to it you get your legs back. Your real legs.
Hell yeah, sir.
Looks like you. This is your avatar.
Just relax and let your mind go blank. It shouldn't be hard for you.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for the highest grossing movie of all time, James Cameron's Avatar. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
I'm blue and ready to shoot. Not the first word that goes in my mouth.
What Pandoran plants have you been smoking?
All of them. Wild times.
Alright. Yes, so we're talking about Avatar because 13 years later, we are getting a sequel in the form of Avatar: The Way of Water. Yeah, so now, probably like every other film podcast on the internet, we're going back, revisiting Avatar. So yes, please be aware, we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes in any of the movies, so if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's jump to discussion of Avatar, directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron, starring James Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Michelle Rodriguez, and Sigourney Weaver. On the lush alien world of Pandora live the Na'vi, beings who appear primitive but are highly evolved. Because the planet's environment is poisonous, human Na'vi hybrids called avatars must link to human minds to allow for free movement on Pandora. Jake Sully, a paralyzed former Marine, becomes mobile again through one such avatar and falls in love with a Na'vi woman. As a bond with her grows, he is drawn into a battle for the survival of her world. Dylan, when was the last time that you watched Avatar?
Oh, probably 2010. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I'm pretty sure the last time I watched the movie was when I saw it twice in cinemas. And I've never seen it since. I had a Blu-ray copy that I had to search for to get.
You found it though?
I found it, yes.
Yeah, I saw it twice in cinemas with different groups of people. And then I watched it at a friend's place. They got the Blu-ray when it came out. And then my dad got a 3D TV, so I actually watched it in 3D at home, like in a home space.
Yeah. So
I've watched it a few times. Yeah.
All right. So obviously we didn't watch it in 3D. We watched it at home on normal televisions.
Yes, normal.
We didn't go out and watch the re-release.
No.
You know, which I heard like built up massive anticipation recently.
It was in 3D, right?
It was in 3D. Well, they had 3D showings, yes.
Yeah, they had 3D.
So, John, what did you think of Avatar this time?
I thought it was fine. Like, I found it actually sort of... I came into it thinking it was going to not hold up at all and all this other sort of stuff, but, like, I just thought it was a perfectly enjoyable sci-fi thing. I think the thing that makes the movie most enjoyable is just the world. Like, that's sort of the standout part. Just the investment in creating this, like, you know, everything in the world, like from the few animals you see to the plants and everything. Like, there's a whole ecosystem that's obviously been created for the world of Pandora and just, you know, the floating mountains and all this sort of stuff. Like, it is a very interesting and visually interesting world, Pandora. The Na'vi, again, like, interesting like unique design stand out and all that sort of stuff. The cultural stuff is all interesting. The plot is whatever. It's just like it's just so on the nose. But I don't know if people even realize, like, but to the point where I'm like, I don't recall, and like I was barely out of high school or just finishing high school when it came out. So I definitely, none of my friends were sitting around like, man, this movie really does explore how we invade.
It's all about colonialism.
You know what I mean? Like, we weren't sitting around discussing colonialism, but in watching it this time, it's just so on the nose and so heavy-handed. Like, and I wouldn't even say in a bad way, but it's just like so blunt that it's sort of redundant. I don't know, like just and even the stereotype macho army dude character, like all the characters are so like all the American, because that's the thing too. It's just like they're like Earth's invading Pandora. It's like, no, it's very obviously America's invading Pandora. Like, you know, like do you ever see a French fucking dude walk past, or you know anyone else? No, it's fucking America's invading Pandora. Dude. Like, that's like there was a clear choice to not get any other nations involved in this.
Well, I mean,
it's all about money.
You know, just they talk about Earth being a dying planet. You know, maybe they finally cracked, and like they're like, yeah. You gotta get rid of the rest of these people.
Yeah, get rid of them. Maybe Earth is only America now, so... yeah, so the story's like whatever. Jake Sully as a character is just also just... I wouldn't say he's a bad character. He's just so one-dimensional for the majority of the movie. Like, he's just sort of a pseudo-protagonist for you as a viewer, I guess. And maybe that's like part of the whole 3D thing. I don't really know. Zoe Saldana... Is that how you say it? Saldana?
Zoe Saldana.
Saldana. She's sort of the standout, I guess, other than Sigourney Weaver, who both give good performances and stuff in this. But yeah, like I thought it was fine. Like I didn't hate watching it. I enjoyed my 2 hours or whatever. It made me more excited to watch the new one, which is, I guess, the important thing. Because so far I've been watching these trailers going, I don't fucking care, really. And then watching this, I was like, yeah, maybe I care a little bit.
Yeah, I also had low expectations kind of going in, just because obviously it is the highest grossing movie of all time. There was so much love around it initially, and then people just stopped talking about it for the last 10 years. Except going, oh, what's James Cameron doing? Oh, he's making another Avatar movie? But yeah, I mean, it's really enjoyable. It is visually incredible. Like, it holds up. I'm sure there's a ton of films that came out in 2009 that don't visually hold up anymore. But this one definitely does. You know, just the creature designs and everything, they just look fantastic. All the, like, the flying beasts look incredible. There's some great explosions and that kind of stuff. All the Na'vi look really good. Yeah, but the story is very much it's a classic story. You know, a human goes to another alien planet, falls in love with an alien. No, I mean, someone from a foreign land falls in love with someone from that other. It's Pocahontas, you know. It's cowboys and Indians so much. Yeah, so stories that people understand and retold again and again. Probably unlike a lot of those cowboy and Indian movies, you know, the natives win. So I mean, that's a nice twist on it. But I feel like the whole white savior thing has become such a big no-no in the last probably like 5-10 years, more than it was when this movie first came out. So, or is something that's more criticized. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting how the story itself is kind of aged, and it's like not necessarily the best in 2022. But it is really enjoyable. I mean, it's a simple story. It's told very well. Like you said, Zoe Saldana probably is the heart of this film. Like, she's fantastic as Neytiri. Yeah. I mean, even Stephen Lang, I think, as the over-the-top military dude, I think he is pretty fantastic in that role. As you definitely want to see him get his by the end of the film. And, he gets it in the most brutal way possible. Several massive arrows to the chest. I think there were a lot of really solid action sequences. Whether it's the big battle at the ends. My question is, why didn't they use these giant arrows that were shooting through the glass earlier? When there was the trucks were demolishing their sacred trees.
Yeah.
Like using the weak arrows. Why weren't they pulling out the big ones?
They had the time to prepare,
That's true. That's a valid point.
They always carry around a rocket launcher.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting also in 2022, the idea of a person transporting their consciousness into another body isn't that crazy anymore, I guess, with the advent of virtual reality and that kind of stuff.
That part is actually it's kind of funny because the whole movie is this fantasy sci-fi thing.
Yeah,
more
in animated, it's such a common trope.
Yeah, but that stuff is just so transhumanism has been explored in any cyberpunk story for so long, but it's usually into a robot, whereas the story or some form of robotic type thing, or even just straight up put your consciousness into a computer. Whereas here it's into another body,
organic body, yeah,
or organic body, which is an organic body of a type of creature that you actually aren't. Yeah, that's the part where it gets sort of interesting. But
yeah, I think
which it looks like they're exploring in the sequel because it looked, as we talked about, I think on What Do You Want to Watch or whatever. It looks like they're being shunned because I assume he's not a real Navi. That's what it looks like to me. Maybe.
I don't know. I only watched the first trailer. I've watched the most recent one. But yeah, very keen. I think, yeah, there's a lot of really nice moments, whether it's Jake running for the first time, after obviously being losing his legs, the excitement of being able to walk again.
No, it's the part where his tail just starts flipping around. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Just, yeah, and he just puts stuff in his mouth all of a sudden. It's like, hey, eat this. Yeah. Anything else you really want to discuss about Avatar? Yeah. Did you notice the lack of 3D? Did that impact you at all?
It makes me wonder sometimes, because the film is visually very good, from a CGI, production standpoint and all that stuff. And there's just, I don't know if the new one, if you go watch that in 3D, it'll be better. But there's just that element of, as good as the 3D is, it just dilutes there's just stuff you're losing. So it's sort of just interesting in that way that you can't get the best of both worlds. You can't see the best looking version and watch it in 3D because it's just going to look a little bit off. So no, I don't feel like I miss the 3D. I'm not a big 3D lover. I definitely the best 3D movies. There's only a handful I could say that actually did it well. It was this, fucking actually weirdly Harold and Kumar's Christmas or whatever the fuck it was actually quite good for me. Jackass 3D, any movie where they actually filmed it and made use of the technology,
instead of putting 3D effects on after.
Yeah, that was all. Or even the animated stuff Legends of the Owls of the Gahul or whatever. That was I watched that in 3D, I think, and that was fine as well because it was animated. But majority of 3D movies I watched, and I did watch a fair chunk because you didn't really have a choice. Actually, it was this movie's in 3D, 8 showings, and then we've got 1 2D one. So I remember watching so many things, and then I remember coming out Clash of the Titans, the year after, because they filmed that normally, and then this is where it all starts. The whole we'll just fucking pay and we'll put 3D on, and I remember watching that the year after Avatar. I think it was 2010 or whatever, and just be fucking Sam Worthington's in this, but no, this, he is not carrying the 3D torch really, because the movie looks fucking terrible 3D. Bad movie anyway, but yeah. So I would just at this stage, if when I go, if my cinema's like, there's 2 3D showings and whatever, I'm just watching it normal. I'm not watching it.
You're just going to watch it in 2D.
I'm just going to watch it in 2D. Especially, like, it's just so annoying. You have to put the glasses over your glasses. Tedious.
I mean, I think I'd watch it in 3D because that's what James Cameron wants. So,
you know what James Cameron wants? I want lots of things too. You know, doesn't mean they happen. Especially for someone who spent 13 years making a sequel to his own movie.
It's true.
Went to a cave, just sat there, fucking working on the water CGI or whatever for the way of water. Like, come on, man.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see whether it paid off or not. Yeah, I think the world again of Pandora, really impressive. We actually do get kind of a glimpse of what potentially we could get in. Like I'm like, oh, there's a clan near the water.
Yeah, I too. When they went to that clan and they literally called them like the Water Clan of something or whatever, I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
I guess maybe the story is that obviously they're maybe it's not so much that they're not Na'vi, but because they're not of the clan originally, because they had to. I assume they all have to relocate after Home Tree gets destroyed.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I'm just very confused. I have a lot of questions, and the trailers, and even having watched that new one, which you haven't, it doesn't really do anything. Like, it's still the same thing. You see Jake, you see...
It's still, like, flying around.
Yeah, it's like, we're flying around, there's beautiful things, there's water, humans. There's some humans that have come back, I guess, which, yeah, like, I have lots of questions, and I'm fine to go, like, I'm going to watch it either way, so you don't need to... I don't need a trailer to spell anything out. But yeah, certainly after having this rewatch, I'm left with more questions because at least before watching this, I sort of forgot so much of this movie. But now watching this again, I'm like, no, they kick all the humans off. And there's still lots of them alive from the clan, or except for the ones who were allowed to say yeah. There's still lots of that clan of theirs alive. And they all love him now. Like the brother turns around and, you know, they fight
he dies,
together. And, yeah, but like, I just mean like in general, like all the people who were against Jake, you know, they bring him back to life. And the other thing that I completely fucking forgot until watching this actually was that the movie ends with him becoming Na'vi 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the whole like...
You forgot
thing.
that?
No, I totally forgot that. It's been like 13 years, Ash. It's been 12 years since I watched it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. But yeah, the movie ends with his eyes opening or whatever. I was like, fuck, that's a good point. This sequel's going to be the first time you ever actually see him running around as He
doesn't have the
he's not a ghost in a shell.
Body.
Yeah, he's just a full Na'vi.
I mean, I guess that does remove a little bit of a tension point, you know, because there was always the risk of his normal body being destroyed or being affected.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, but I'm sure they'll work way around that. I think one of the most impactful moments of the movie is like Home Tree does get destroyed.
They absolutely fuck that thing up. That tree.
Yeah, they like took that tree out real good, and just the way it falls so slowly. This massive tree is like fuck. That beautifully put together sequence. I think yeah. Sigourney Weaver, she's really good in this. Even though, you know, she's playing kind of a bit part and like having to be the scientist. I do enjoy all the sequences, like she's taking care of Jake in their portable lab or whatever, making meat food or whatever. Putting him to bed like proud mama. It's like lots of little sweet moments. Michelle Rodriguez, I forgot, was in this movie.
I don't think she's dead. I call bullshit because the last you see her, she's literally like, I'm going down. I'm like, yeah, cool, but like, I've seen people's planes go down before. That's why.
She gets hit by a missile though, so.
But you don't see it explode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you see it explode.
Yeah? Oh fuck, I must have blinked and missed that. I thought she was just going down. Alright, never mind. She's alive.
No, she gets dead. Old Stephen Lang shoots her with a missile.
I thought she died in...
That's pretty good.
Just to say, I thought she died in Machete, but she came back for the sequel too, so you never know.
That's true. Yeah.
And I thought she died in Fast and Furious, so she came back for the sequel. It's like, just say Michelle Rodriguez can come back!
That's
She
very
comes
fair
back in
point.
Avatar, the third one. She's like, I got memory loss, motherfuckers.
My body got transported. My mind got the grounds absorbed my memories, and now I've been transplanted into another body.
We should read the crazy theories I was reading in the latest Avatar trailer in the comments, because there's a shot of like some dude, and I think it's like a Na'vi looking hand holding up like a human skull, and people are like, this is Stephen Lang, this is his character, he's in a fucking Na'vi body now, that's his skull from the first movie, he's found it. Like, I was like, how are you drawing so much from a literally 1.5 second screenshot? But I was like, I'm down, make that the storyline. I don't know.
Yeah, I will say their god Arwen could have come in a little bit earlier. You know what I mean? With the animals.
True, yeah.
You know? Would have helped a lot. Much easier. Yeah. Why do you think this movie kind of dropped out of public conversation and consciousness?
Because there's nothing. Absolutely nothing for it. For years. People try to make this argument. They're like, yeah, but there was no Star Wars movies for years. There was books. There was comics. There was TV shows. There was, you know what I mean? There was a litany of, they attempted Christmas specials. I don't know. There was a litany of different things they attempted. Avatar had a movie, and then nothing. There's nothing. No one cares. No one's reminded of it. Why the fuck would it stick around in public consciousness? For 13 years.
I mean, Titanic kind of stuck around in people's public consciousness. There's not like massive comic books or tie-ins or TV shows about that.
That's different. That's different, and that's a different time.
How's that different?
That's before everyone's minds now is mush because of the MCU and whatever else. Like, it's quick pass. Like what's happening? I was going to MCU movie. Where's the Disney Plus series? Where's the Disney Plus series? Where's the spin-off comic book? Where's the next movie? Where's the sequel? Where's the Disney Plus series? Where's the solo character show? Where's the after credits scene, motherfucker? Like, these people, I can't. 13 years between things. In a world where people are literally watching a Black Panther Wakanda Forever, seeing this character, and they're like, where's that fucking character's Disney Plus show? Because if I don't get that in 4 months, I'm forgetting her fucking name. Like, people can't wait 13 years. Get the hell out of here. It's not a thing. You know what the kids are like now, Ash? Brains like potatoes. Mashed fucking potatoes.
Alright. Anything else you want to discuss? Any other key moments?
Music's good.
The music is good, I was reminded. It's, the song at the end, I'm like, who the hell is this? It's like Leona Lewis, someone who, clearly didn't stick around.
Haven't put out an album for 13 years. Let's go. What the fuck are you doing? No one's going to remember you.
The only other thing that caught my attention was like, what are they using to strap down their like jewelry? Because they're always covering the female Na'vi's chests.
I don't know. I was like, they just not have nipples?
Or are they like clamps?
Maybe. Yeah.
To hold it in place. Is their upper torso like Velcro?
Maybe. This is a good point, though. I feel like they have very loose-looking clothing, and somehow, but I'm like, maybe Na'vi breasts are different to human breasts. I don't know.
It's true. It could be.
But imagine how big the dongs are.
We don't know that they have dongs.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, good point.
You know? We never see them,
Well, they fucking have children in the sequel. I don't know if you're aware of this. So
but they don't necessarily recreate in the same way humans do.
Yeah. Stick a finger in the ear.
It could be the little thingy.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
The hair thingy.
Yeah.
What if
you just have? What if it's like we're going down a deep rabbit hole now. The PG's off, the MA's on. What if down below, down the nether regions, like it's a shed, so it's not really female and male Na'vi. They just both have the same genitals, and they got like a little version of that down there, and they connect them down there. And then, potentially,
because when they're doing that lovemaking sequence, they're just grinding on each other. So,
yeah, adds up. When a mummy Na'vi and a daddy Na'vi combine
their downstairs
entangled pieces,
the downstairs hair, then
the downstairs hair, to create a little Na'vi by I don't know how I don't know.
Yeah, well, there needs to be something that the baby comes out of.
They lay eggs.
On that note, let us know what you thought. What you think of Avatar? Are you excited for Avatar: Way of Water? Is it going to be the biggest movie of the year? Highest grossing movie of all time? Do we think Avatar: The Way of Water is going to match the box office of Avatar?
No, because Avatar's way ahead. It's got come back to cinema several times. I keep adding to it. I think it's very unfair. So no way.
Yeah, well, Avatar is currently sitting at $2,922,000,000 worldwide gross.
I think it surpasses Black Panther.
And so you think does it surpass Top Gun Maverick?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it'll be. Well, it's hard because it's coming out the 20.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about this calendar year. I think
Yeah, I think it's gonna make a lot of money.
To perspective, Top Gun Mavericks made $1.48 million, and that's 11th all time.
Yeah,
so,
I think it'll do money. The bigger question is, will people care to have it? Will it reignite that spark? Either way, I think people are going to go watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel people will go watch it out of curiosity. Whether they do what they did with Avatar and go back constantly to re-experience it is another question that I'm looking forward to finding out. So yeah. Let us know your thoughts by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Tell people about the show. Leave us 5 stars anywhere you can leave 5 stars. And if you really like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, I see you. Keep watching stuff, I guess.
They've sent us a message that they can take whatever they want. But we will send them a message that this is our land!